AITA for shutting down my MIL and her husband's comments on my son's name? I had a baby with my husband 2 weeks ago. Our son's first name is in honor of his late grandfather, my late FIL, and my husband's late dad. He died while my husband was still a young child and I never met him. But he means a great deal to my husband still. The name isn't my late FIL's first name, but a childhood nickname that is also a real name. Few would know this. Only those close to FIL or who knew him a long time. MIL was aware of the name, obviously, but her husband would not have been without MIL saying something to him about it. This did happen and her husband was hurt that my husband chose to honor just his late dad and not him, the man who has been married to MIL since he was 7. My husband is not fond of his mom's husband and that's what he is to my husband, just the man his mom is married to. He wanted to be a father to him and was too pushy while my husband was a child. He wanted my husband to take his name, he wanted to adopt my husband and he calls my husband his son. He dragged my husband along to father/son activities for Father's Day every year once he married MIL. MIL was always hopeful that my husband would be fine with that and would love her husband as his second dad. She always stayed more quiet though. There are a lot of tensions between the three. My husband still doesn't care for the man his mom married and resents his mom for wanting him to have another dad and for not stepping in and stopping her husband from being so pushy. MIL has her own resentments toward my husband. I think on her part she feels as though my husband wanted her to stay single forever. Apparently as a teenager he confessed he wished she had not remarried. So she holds on to that. Then there's her husband. He is fully aware my husband does not care for him and does not regard him as a father figure. But he feels like he earned it and he chooses to ignore it all and acts like he's dad and granddad. This all bubbled over yesterday when MIL and her husband visited my son and me. They were quiet first but then commented on his two names not fitting well together. I ignored that comment, but then they said how sad it is that both grandfathers couldn't be honored in the name and how our son's first name would have gone so much better with MIL's husband's name as a middle name. I told them I did not want to hear them suggest more names or commentary on my son's name. They tried to speak, but I shut them down by saying they are not my son's parents, and I am not interested in hearing their feelings on the name. I suggested they leave and speak to a neutral third party on it if they needed to get their feelings out, but I was not a therapist and was not the person to vent to. They accused me of being rude and disrespectful. They complained to my husband who was not calm at all in how he spoke to them. I now wonder if I was overly harsh/strict with shutting them down. AITA?